too late for predictions right now because the map is starting. Ladies and gentlemen, this is QuakeCon 2015, the Grand Duel Masters Championship on the line right now between Rapha and Evil. And we are starting on Rapha's point of view. They're going to clash immediately, but it is going to be Rapha who claims the rocket launcher first. Evil, he just wants to escape. And they're going to have to fight for their own items to begin with. But he's going to claim a kill straight away. Evil walked the wrong direction, and Rapha is within 15 seconds, one frag up.
And such a blindside as well. As you stated, Evil almost got away with that, but Rapha closing the noose on him, securing that first frag. And this is a map that we can see easily no frags go on for 10 minutes at a time, but not the case here so far. Rapha looking to put the attack on once again, as we have several seconds before Red Armor comes up in the middle of the map, and he's looking for Evil to cap it in.
It's a nasty time to get a loser frag early on because it's such a slow map. Can take a long time to plan and strategize a fight that can work into your favor. But Evil's just picked up the mega health. His stack really isn't looking all that bad.
Well, it looks like Rapha's going to be able to take over the LG side of the map. He's coming back in mid-map looking for a fight maybe. Earlier in the day, we've seen these guys be really cautious about going into a face-on-face fight, but the precedent has already been set. Rapha's already got a frag on the board, and Evil's going to be sneaking around the back, getting into a pretty solid rocket here as the upper Y is about to come up, and it's going to be perhaps a trap from Rapha. Evil knows exactly what's going on, and a direct rocket is going to give Evil second thoughts in terms of attacking that Red Armor himself.
Well, we've got two yellow armors up at the moment. Evil, he just wants to get onto the mega. He doesn't want to give Rapha that extra health. Trying to get himself over towards that yellow. Is Evil going to be able to fend him off? Just about. Rapha running short on health, needing that 50 health bubble.
Well, he's going to make it back over to that and taking the LGYA as well. A little bit early on the Red Armor. He's been sitting here a lot, but here comes Evil dropping in on him. Going to be able to push him off. Rapha now out of rockets and out of options, trying to get out of here. Evil on the chase a little bit, but he doesn't really have the stack to justify it at this point. So Rapha is going to be once again heading to the back of the map, trying to recover.
Only 100 health and 80 armor. Evil not much better, but in a good position for him to take the next mega health. Rapha being extremely careful, cherishing that one frag lead that he currently has. There it is. Evil with one
been on his back leg here for the past minute or so, but to his credit, he hasn't really given that much damage over to Evil. On the meantime, we've got Evil with a lot of health, a lot of armor. Rapha trying to do some damage as he comes out of that teleport. It's not quite going to be going his way, but he can always come back to home base here at the upper YA. And he's anticipating a trap now from Evil, maybe at the plasma gun, maybe at the other yellow armor. Gets a quick spot from him, but nowhere near a decisive rocket.
Evil is almost 200 at the moment. It's quite a lot more health and armor than Rapha has. Rapha really doesn't want to get into a fight. He's going to play his typical defensive style in order to try and get away from Evil at the moment.
So it's all up to Evil now to close in and find a fight. And Red Armor is usually the place to do it, but Rapha's timing on Red Armor this time much more snappy. And he's in and out of there before Evil realizes what's up.
Evil,
a lot of health on Evil there.
Not bad rockets at all. He doesn't need to fight too close because there's no items for him to claim just yet. Rapha in the dark corners of the map.
And I'm honestly shocked that we haven't seen a face-to-face fight between these guys for a little while. They've barely seen each other other than cursory spam. But Rapha dropping down to this mega might be able to have an opportunity here as Evil's on the exit. A decent rocket, but the LG's coming from Evil as well. And he's going to be running out of, well, was running out of rockets. He's able to take away the ammo up top, take away yellow armor as well. But again, the stack between these guys is just neck and neck. And neither of them wants to find out who can win it out in a Duke.
Rapha just listening out for sounds at the moment so that he can react accordingly to where Evil may be trying to trap him. That's something that Evil's found very difficult actually today when he was playing Rapha earlier on, is actually managing to sort of bridge that gap and get close, up and personal, and have a close fight. And there's going to be Rapha. He goes on the mega, but that actually was devastating. He lost so much health and armor from that. Evil, if he likes, he can go down to the red, but he doesn't need it urgently. He'd rather do damage at the moment. Rapha being sent back, he gets the yellow armor, but he's still significantly weaker than Evil for the time being.
He's going to take the damage indeed, but Rapha's had relatively little pressure on him as he goes to recover at the yellow armor. Almost gets a decent rocket at that point, but as he comes back into mid-map, decent rocket there. Again, keeping Evil at arm's length for a little bit longer as we near the halfway point of the map.
Again, Rapha sneaking around the sides. He's had this lead for almost 5 minutes time.
It's going to be, well, a really cautious approach here as Rapha on the top of the map, making sure he's got plenty of ammo up here. He's not really listening all that much as he comes into this corner. I'm wondering if Evil's going to be around the corner. There's a nice spam rocket, letting him know he's there.
Evil does have some good information at the moment, but Rapha's just around the corners which Evil can't get past. He's got to give respect to Rapha's rockets. They are some of the best you'll ever see. Part of the reason Rapha won the Duel division was because of his defensive capabilities with the rocket launcher. He sees Evil, does a bit of damage. I don't think that Mega was taken, but Evil does swipe it away before Rapha's able to.
And Lost World is really one of the only maps where a one frag lead is this significant and this worth holding on to this defensively. Rapha does not want to let it go. And now he's actually got sight of him over by the lightning gun. Rapha might want to spam in the corridor a little bit and catch him coming out the other side. It's not going to be easy, suffice to say.
I'm going to switch over to Evil and see what he's able to do. We've been checking out Rapha for a long time, his defensive plays, but how on earth is Evil going to be able to get closer? He's had control for such a long time. He's always had, you know, an edge on the health, an edge on the armor. But in the fights, it's always Rapha who dictates which way it's going to go. We got Mega up.
He's got Mega and red armor up, and so Rapha's kind of bridging the gap between both of them, seeing which way Evil wants to go, which way he wants to commit, and going to dive down for the other one, maintaining not exactly stack parity, but keeping his armor up at the very least.
Evil is often making a lot of noise on the map, so Rapha usually can hear him come towards him. That was a massive rocket. That might slow Evil down a little bit. Is Rapha going to be challenging for control of the next Mega health? Because that's generally what's going to split the two of them. Evil only just manages to get onto the red. Thought he was going to get knocked down by, well, the knockback of the lightning gun. 5 seconds till Mega. Is Evil going to challenge? He's only got one rocket left. He's going to have to just say goodbye to it.
If Evil was able to get out of the red armor a little bit more cleanly, he might have been able to challenge that Mega, but now they're going to be trading, again, cursory shots. Still in man's game. Upper wide taken away again. Evil listening to see if Rapha comes around this side, but it looks like Rapha's going to be going out the other side and actually getting in front of Evil and taking the red armor out right under his nose once again.
Can Evil hold on to his position and defend Mega? That is another massive rocket. That's just so typical of Rapha's style. Landing these direct rockets and forcing Evil to wait a bit before he's able to reaggress.
He's going to be backing out at this point. They're going to be trading constantly across the map, and decent damage either way. Evil getting pinned up against the wall. Rapha able to take that Mega to keep himself in the game. Both of their armor took a mighty shock in that fight, but it's going to be Rapha who ends up taking over mid-map and getting the lion's share of the resources on the map.
2 yellows though for Evil, so he's not so weak himself. But look at that, the amount of time. We had the first frag 15 seconds into the game. It's now 7.5 minutes into the game, and Evil just still cannot work a way around this sort of impenetrable defense.
And really, that's not
Rapha.
the shocking part. The shocking part is that he did get that frag in the first 15 seconds of the game. This is a stalemate that we can easily see, especially in Rapha's house.
Oh, the rocket's there from Evil. Is he going to get the kill? He gets onto the Mega. He's surely going to chase. He's got no rockets left, but how can he cut down the gap?
That's exactly what he's wondering right now. He almost catches Rapha coming out the other way. Rapha only down to 10 points of health. He's got a yellow armor. He's got a 25. He's got a 50 available to him, but you know that they're not going to be safe. They're not going to be easy to get a hold of, and he's wanting to back off. He knows that 50 is too tempting, too good to be true. In the meantime, Evil's taking this opportunity to reassess his items, which allows Rapha to escape, perhaps, but Evil's got the turn of the tide of the items back in his favor.
Evil waiting for this Mega, not got the exact timing on it, but he'll find it soon enough. I think Rapha is really happy to have been able to escape the last fight. He gets another direct rocket, which will slow down Evil, and he doesn't really want to lose position on that red armor. He needs to stack up a little bit. He needs to make sure he has as much health and armor as possible before he gets close to Rapha.
And every time he comes in the middle, like you said, he's being really noisy. He's not being incredibly subtle with where he is. He's walking into a lot of splash damage. He's seeing a lot of rocket trails, but not seeing a whole lot of Rapha. Rapha, once again, fading away into mid, leaving behind some grenades. Kind of miraculous that none of them connected. Evil still looking at a count stack, and it has to be.
Rapha going to fall for it. Oh, he does on the other side, though. Mega's going to be up. Evil does not fall off. He's trying to prevent Rapha from getting it, but it's a kill from Rapha. 2-0 right now, and there's only a minute to go. Evil needs to get himself some weapons. He needs some stack immediately.
We have to be watching Evil at this point. He's the one who's got everything to play for. Evil doing quite a bit of plasma damage on Rapha as he goes for the red armor.
It might be another frag. Air rocket, but it's not enough. Rapha 3-0 up. And I think Evil is losing hope here on map number 1. He's trying to bounce Rapha around with rockets, but there's just so much more health to go again. Well, in fact, Rapha did lose a lot, but Evil can't get close, not at all.
It's easier said than done here on Lost World, and with the final 20 seconds left, 3 might as well be 30 at this point.
Those long-range rockets, not going to be successful. Evil calls GG, guys. Rapha is going to take map number 1 here. That defensive play is just insane from Rapha. The amount of time that Evil had control and was not able to get even anywhere near close to him, do any damage whatsoever. It's always rocket after rocket, and then to have to go back and try again.
It's got to be frustrating for Evil. You cannot just try and chase and try to find your opponent out, especially on a map like Lost World. We saw how many times Rapha was just able to disappear, and you know that as soon as you give chase, he's just going to be taking every item out from under you. And we saw that a few times.
No, that's absolutely right. Well, we should be going to the next map, which is Evil's pick. It's going to be Sinister, so we can show that little map on the reel as well. It's a slightly different to Lost World. It's still quite a slow map, but it does have the added railgun that you did not see over here on Lost World.
And it is an important gun on this, obviously. There's so many angles for you to get kind of unanswered rail damage, get that sneaky shot on the red armor, get the sneaky shots on the mega health. And everywhere in between, essentially. We're going to have to see who can make most use out of these corridors while still controlling the items.
I'm just wondering if there's going to be such an incredible start like we saw at Lost World. Are we going to have a frag decided immediately, or are they going to have a bit of a stalemate and Rapha's going to have to think of some offensive plays for himself? Because having that frag early on, I mean, he was just able to play defensive until Evil was able to force that frag, which never even happened.
And of course, we're looking at a much more even distribution of weapons this time around. I mean, we're most likely going to see a standard start of, yellow armor, mega health, and red armor.
Let's go, though. This is match number 2, the Grandmasters Duel Championship. We are on Evil off the beginning. He's got the red armor to start with, and already we can see that no one has died. Maybe, though, massive rocket at the beginning. How does Rapha find this damage so quickly?
Sneaking it through the window. Evil's going to be already taking a bit of damage here, but Rapha's going to have yellow and mega health. Evil anticipating the move through the teleporter. There it is. He's on top of the stairs, ready for that red armor, but he might need to give it up, especially after that rail, forcing him off that position. But Evil is not expecting Rapha to already be there. That 50 health is such a trap. He left the red armor up knowing that it would buy him enough time to get in front of Evil and take him down for that first frag. But he's being really aggressive for number 2, perhaps. He really wants this mega health, and he may or may not get it. He's only down to 100 health. Evil's going to be able to get that mega and get out of there. He's looking for the rail. Doesn't quite get it. Rapha down to 85 health himself with 5 seconds left in the red, and being up here might not be the best place because that allows Evil to get the rail. So there it is, tying it back up 1-1 as Evil takes away both mega and red armor, and he's primed and ready to find Rapha once again.
Massive clutch shot there from Evil. Rapha was really hoping he could hold on to that red and at least from Evil, but he goes out the bounce pad. It's 2-1 now for Evil, trying to make a comeback in this series, which he's currently trailing in.
He's got precious few seconds to get up on Mega. In fact, he's going to leave it up and just hope to get more damage against Rapha. He's able to safely collapse back to that Mega, and with 1 second left to red, Rapha's going to be there, but is he really ready for it?
The LG
is going to be so strong. He can get so close, but cannot connect with the red armor, giving this a decent 2-frag lead here already. Definitely a different tone from Lost World already.
Is he going to be able to find Rapha again? Or is Rapha, I can imagine he's just slowing down. He's showing his face once more. There's still seconds until this big item's up, but Rapha's going for damage. It's the last rail will get the kill for either of them. Both of them very tense right now. Evil wants that red armor, spawns in 1 second and just about dodges that shot.
And Rapha doesn't even get the rail on the red armor. This gives Evil both items essentially for free. It's really hard for Rapha to challenge the Mega after not getting that connected shot.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
How did he land that?
Yeah, pixels. Jeez, and Rapha turning it right back against him. Evil still looking at a great stack, but he might need to at least bait this next item out. It's going to be the red armor coming up over the top. They're going to be clashing almost right on it. No, Rapha actually leaves it up. He's looking perhaps for the trap opportunity, and even Evil's looking for it.
I think Rapha at this point, he doesn't have any armor. He's just got to hope that he can stay away from Evil, steals a couple of those yellows over the next minute or two. We're only 2.5 minutes into this game. Rapha can go back to a defensive style in order for himself to get in control.
It's absolutely doable on this map as well. As you can see, Rapha's trying to just throw out a rail and disappear. And he's rocking 46% rail accuracy at this point. Evil's pretty close at 45 himself. So trading is not really going to be in Rapha's favor, but if he can get a few unanswered rails, that could certainly even the tables.
It's taking a long time for Rapha to build up that stack though. Evil needs to find some damage during that time. He knows exactly where Rapha is, but landing those shots to stop Rapha getting to 200 armor is going to allow him to keep his lead for a bit longer. Without having to have a big fight, Rapha shows himself for a moment.
is actually almost an ambush there on Evil, but as soon as Evil looked around, Rapha wanted to get out of the room and unfortunately got out of there without taking too much damage. But now Evil rocking around with almost a full stack completely, as you said, Zoo. Rapha's really struggling to get it up himself. But just a few minutes knocked off the clock already here. Evil's got to be, enjoying this lead, but he knows that it's not enough to really solidify his one on Sinister here. And there's a rail like that that'll keep Rapha in his shell a little bit longer. He's going to be able to take away that 50 health without a whole lot of pressure, and able to get out of the room as well, as we have Evil taking away one more Mega.
That was a really important rail, actually, from Evil. Even though, oh, he's found it again, but it's a sitting duck, and Evil misses that. He's not going to be happy about it. But with that red coming up in a moment, he's got to force Rapha out of here. Rapha is looking for some kind of free damage. He gets one rail, but he needs a bit more than that, really. Rapha keeps on showing his face, trying to get some rockets to land.
Rockets, grenades, rails, he's just trying to get anything to chip down the stack that Evil's put together here. And to Rapha's credit, he's been able to get plenty of armor.
He's slowing down Evil so that he can't chase necessarily, and allows Rapha to get to a good armor stack. But Rapha's back down to about 100 armor.
And Rapha's actually brought himself up to 50% rail. With rails like that, Evil's gonna get a little bit more angry perhaps. He's looking for a little bit more damage, trying to force him off of this red. Certainly he's got to be annoying it by this point, so Evil doing the damage prior to getting that item just so he can get it safely. But man, now the rockets from Rapha are starting to give Evil second thoughts.
Very impressive rockets from Rapha. Evil cannot drop this Mega. I mean, this is where the game could be won or lost. If Rapha is able to steal it away, he's not got enough armor right now to have a realistic chance of getting it. But this is definitely a focus point for Evil over the next 5 minutes.
Absolutely. So Evil's still maintaining the stack. Only 2 frags, but we're well over halfway through Sinister here. And here's Rapha dropping on down. A huge opportunity for Evil. Evil a little bit confused. Oh, why didn't that go my way? Rapha got 1 rocket off on Evil before he left. And Rapha YA is going to be maybe a safe haven for Evil at this moment, but he's going to need to put some pressure on Red Armor. We have our tables turned in terms of position, but Evil's LG is going to be so strong here. Rapha picking up that armor.
No more LG left for either of them.
And Evil has to leave it up. He cannot solidify that frag, but here's Rapha with the rockets getting in off the Mega. How did he survive that? Evil's armor's completely gone now. Rapha's still so low on health, but you can see that Evil's now having to turn his speed up to 11 just to evade these shots from Rapha. But unfortunately for him, he's just running into them now.
Oh, he's got to get back now. Rapha's going to chase for the kill. He gets the rail. It's 2-3, and Rapha may have just reacquired control.
Well, it's a long time before items come back up. Rapha's not going to be much less than 100 right now, so there's a few precious seconds where Rapha needs to figure out where he needs to be on these items. Mega's going to be up first, but it's going to be asking for a fight. He doesn't really want to commit to it, and if he didn't want to before, that rocket's definitely going to make him twice. So Rapha dropping down for YA. He left up red armor, interestingly enough. He could have pretty easily gone from Mega. He didn't drop down, he didn't commit. He could have gone to make the grab.
He's worried about making too much of a risk. We want to get stacked up a bit. He gets a direct rocket on Evil, but he's now in the lower area. It's not going to be possible for him to get that up without creating a huge risk for himself. So he's going to back up.
And this is fine, really. He's got enough time. He can kind of take these slow frags. He can keep playing this slow
He
game.
grinded it, exactly. Yeah. He grounded out and managed to get himself 1 frag closer. And he knows that he's just going to have to, again, get a successful fight at the Mega. Even though Rapha didn't get a fight at the Mega, that's where his control stemmed from. Evil pushes forward, does take a rocket from Rapha, and is going to be forced away.
As long as Rapha's hitting 52% rail while Evil's only hitting 29%, it's definitely an edge to have on the defensive side of this map. And right now, Rapha nowhere near defensive. He's on the warpath. He's looking for Evil. He's looking for a fight that he can get the first and last shot in. As he puts pressure on the teleporter going into red armor, he's making sure that Evil cannot bother him while he's stacking up here. Yeah, this is good. Oh, he's actually dropping in though. He's going to put all the aggression on this. He's going to be forcing Evil back over to red armor, knowing that's not going to be available.
He's found him
on the way down, and that ties us back up.
We've got a bit of a timeout at the moment. Well, we can have a look at some stats for the time being. Rapha's mouse frozen, apparently.
Looking over, and he's using a WMO, which is really, my weapon of choice myself. But I do know that they have maybe, if you're using them roughly, maybe a 6-month lifespan. Hopefully today isn't the day.
No, let's hope not.
You should have one in a holster. It's ready to pop it out. They're $10 on eBay.
Are they still going? Are they still going? I didn't even realize.
They're harder to find these days, but you can get them.
Well, those moments though from Evil, he should be trying to adopt this kind of defensive playstyle that we saw Rapha using on Lost World. But running down, and obviously Evil made a read that Rapha is going to go elsewhere to try and chase for him. It was a big risk. I think Evil also wanted the 50 health bubble, and maybe it was too obvious, so obvious that it kind of, you have those mind games going back and forth. So Evil losing out his lead.
2,
I think we're getting back into it right now. And let's see if Rapha's good to go. It looks like he is, so
all right, cool.
We are set.
All right, guys, final 2 minutes and 10 seconds on the map, and we've just seen this thing tie up 3-3. Rapha with a lot of map advantage right now, and you can see that he's eager for this next fight. Evil, no armor. He's one rocket away, one rocket splash away from getting knocked down. Here comes the LG.
That's going to be another. 4-3. Evil is found just sitting near the Mega. It's not spawning anytime soon. Definitely a fight he should not have been a part of. He didn't have enough weapons, he had pretty much no armor. And Evil, what's he doing out here? He's looking for some miracle rockets. He's getting a considerable amount of damage.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Evil, I cannot believe he got out of that alive. But he's still not out of it. He's still in the room. Rapha looks for the vertical rail.
Evil was looking for it as well. That could have gone either way so easily. We still have a lot of time before major items come up. Rapha was able to take away that all-important 50 health that, as you mentioned, Rapha was able to make very effective trap usage out of it earlier.
I think we're going to get a split on the item as well. But Evil, he wants to get himself onto the next. The red, sorry. He might be able to take both of them if he's fast enough. But Rapha, he's quick to get to the exit.
And moving through that teleporter through the water is just too much of a risk at this point for Evil to play with. But Rapha was able to hold down Mega Health and a little bit of armor. He's able to take away another yellow as we enter our final minute. Evil now playing out of position, out of control, needs to do as much damage.
Switched over to Evil. Oh, we have to see if he can make this comeback, but he's going to have this red. But Evil gets shot down by another rail. He's able to escape. Is there going to be the 50? He's chucking that. Rapha not putting too much pressure. Evil known for some solid LG, but is he able to connect with enough? The Mega coming up next. Rapha not going to give this one up. 30 seconds to go. Evil, he's dropped down already. Very aggressive. He's maybe got time for one more red.
Well, at this point, even without the frags, if Rapha keeps hitting rails like that, Evil will have very little justification for moving in and trying to force a fight against Rapha. So 20 seconds, Evil taking away that red armor finally, dodging over one rocket. He can't exactly chase Rapha here, but he can maybe meet him in the red armor room, wondering where he is,
10
trying
seconds.
to catch him. And Rapha might just be going for the slow game.
Evil,
He's on the back
trying to find him. He goes up the bounce pad, but Rapha, he's just legging it right now. He shows his face once, but he's still got enough health and armor. It's 2-0 for Rapha. The pressure is real right now on Evil, because we're going to be moving over to Elder next, and this was not a map that went in the way of Evil when we saw the last series.
A little surprised to see it called up once again. And this is, of course, a relatively new map in Quake Live. It has a few new mechanics. It has things like doors and moving platforms, and a key even, made by its very own Sync Error. So give it up for Sync Error. Of course, bringing a lot of this tournament to us as well. It's been a fantastic 3 days, and what a way to close it off.
It just is Rapha going to be able to 3-0 it? That would be even more painful than last time Evil was here in 2013. I mean, Rapha's potentially 10 minutes away from getting another title here at QuakeCon.
And Evil's come a long way since 2013 as well. I mean, he's been putting in a lot of work. He's been present in a lot of your own cups, a lot of the 125 FPS stuff. And just the progress and talent he's been able to show has been amazing, which is why he is here, of course. But Rapha is a rock. He's consistent, if nothing else.
It's just someone that Evil has always really struggled with. He's got these sort of high-intensity matches, and Rapha generally comes out on top. We're going to start the third map right now. Evil, he needs your support, guys, as we get into this. I'm going to have to follow him off the beginning. Rapha's on red side. Evil, he's getting the Mega. Is he going to be able to hold on to that rocket launcher?
And that's really the one advantage that he has right now. Rapha has acknowledged that this is really the best side of the map for him to get. Forcing Evil over towards the Mega, one yellow armor, but he does have that rocket launcher. But of course on this map, we don't have access to the railgun for the first 2 minutes. It's locked off in its own little room, and those doors won't open for the beginning of the map.
And at the beginning, now that Evil hasn't made the same aggressive playstyle as he did last time we saw this map, we really need to see him play extremely slow until that railgun spawns. If he's going to try and get a frag now, it's going to be very dangerous. Rapha's going to have to slip up for it to be successful for Evil. As he pushed Rapha back over to Mega, he's standing on the top. Rapha getting some decent damage, but he's also quite weak himself. He might just have to back off and get Mega. That's not a bad fight for Evil whatsoever. He can get top yellow, and he'll be delighted with that.
And he got most of that damage with Plasma even. So Rapha's now back over here at the Mega side. We have that first minute elapsed, and really Evil's is trying to play for position to make a clean grab of that rail without getting any real pressure from Rapha.
They're on the other side. So Rapha unlocks the door. That's what the key allows you to do. And Evil's going to fall back a bit. And Rapha, he opens the door. He can let it close if he wants to. The LG fight, very intense. And maybe Evil can get himself over to the red. 5 seconds until Mega. Rapha is weak. Mega is still up in a couple of seconds. He's trying to chase down. Is he going to go for the jump? He can't do. Evil chasing up. He's got the first frag.
What brilliant play alongside the wall as well. His LG was just on point. Rapha was just so close to him, and yes, the key goes over to Evil. 20 seconds till rail comes up, and having this first frag, having that side of the map, means that he has potentially priority on getting that grab, but he's got to make it over to the... As Rapha wants to come back in mid-map and maybe throw down a little bit of challenge on this red. Whoa, one more time, 3 more times, 2 more.
Third time lucky. I mean, that's much worse than where he was before, but it's all right. He's got the item.
Well, he knows how to do it now.
Good rocket. 2, not so bad. The second one. Rapha, he's trying to settle the Mega, but if he goes down before it spawns, he's in a lot of trouble. He picks up the Mega and gets the kill. He was so weak in that fight. If that Mega came even a fraction of a second later, he would have been down. Evil, though, he gets the return kill, and he picks up that key once again.
That aggression out of Evil, he spawned on the rail side of the map. He had it by all rights, but he wanted to dive back into the middle map, get into the mosh pit with Rapha, and show that he can turn it back around and get a frag up, actually a leading frag up on the board. And now, as we have a quiet moment, Rapha getting away with that red armor, we're looking at Evil trying to get a yellow here, and hopefully some weapons. He's got only LG in his hands at this point, but he's got the key. He can cross over to the other side very quickly, very easily. And now he's just listening for Rapha. Again, he's not being super quiet here, similar to Lost World.
He's let Rapha get away with a lot of items. Although he's got the key, he's going to have to watch out. This is a position he was in before, and it was something Rapha was able to attack nicely in. He's going to have to back off. There's the yellow.
Lightning gun. And Evil's going to be, like I said, backing off here. I really like this.
Oh, the LG! He's going to push forward, but he jumps! And Rapha gets buckets of damage there. And the key, Evil, he wants to go forward. 21 health left, takes him down to 11. Rapha, phenomenally weak, but I don't think Evil can get up fast enough. You can see the red bars at the top. They were both immensely low.
Both of these guys trying to run away and lick their wounds right now, but Rapha is going to be putting down a bit of a trap here with the rocket launcher. As he crosses through the door, looking for the last bit of damage with the plasma gun. In mid-map, there's red armor to play for, but Evil doesn't exactly have position or weapons to justify this fight. And the LG is certainly giving Rapha cause to go back, but now he can take his yellow armor at will. Mega's going to be up in 10 seconds. It's going to be a long time to wait for. That's going to give Evil the red armor, and he should even have time to go in for a railgun if he so chooses. There's YA, and he's got all sorts of breathing room on this side of the map, but he's not going for it. He wants to get a rocket launcher first. He wants to make good use of this LG, and I can't blame him. Maybe LG is all he needs to maintain his fire.
And Rapha's playing it very quietly down here, just waiting for this yellow to spawn, hoping Evil won't spot him. Had to deal with a lot of aggression recently. Rapha just wants to stabilize. He's got the key, which is so valuable to him. Last thing he wants is to pick a fight, and he's trying to work his way in the railgun. You can see how you really have to be careful picking that up, because it takes a lot of time out of the map, and you lose a lot of info. There's a nice little stairs, but he's just faking it out at the moment.
So Evil coming back in mid-map. He's trying to put a lot of pressure on the right side, but Rapha's already up top and crossing over. I saw Evil actually just do a bit of a double take, realizing that Rapha was about to get the Mega out in front of him, and he had no chance to respond. That puts Rapha at a very solid stack, but as we've already seen in the series and throughout the rest of the day, stack doesn't mean anything if you cannot make that trap happen, if you cannot make that initial damage, and so far, Evil's LG has been making up a lot of that difference.
He's going to try and control this lower yellow again. With that red coming up, he's letting Evil get a lot of armor, so he's not really concerned about Evil getting to 200 armor, because he knows that's pretty much already happened during the fight. The yellows will help him out as well. It's the Mega that Rapha really wants to protect. Nice little jump over. Top yellow is going to be up, but it doesn't mean that much to Evil. Evil would rather be able to close the gap or find a way to challenge that next Mega help. Oh, nice trap from Evil. Last rocket, not so bad as well.
Yeah, the damage was okay, but the position is going to be even better now. Even though Evil doesn't have the key, he can hop on the tentacle and the boxes here to potentially get red armor or put pressure on this Mega. In fact, both of them are going to be relevant here pretty soon. So as they stare at each other from across the room, they're both wondering who's going to commit to what first. It's going to be Evil going for the red armor, and we should see Rapha going for the Mega at just about the same time.
I'm wondering if Evil maybe would have rather get the Mega. Maybe that'll switch things up a bit, because Rapha's spending a lot of time on that side of the map. But Evil seems to be fairly content with just stacking up on his armor. But again, wants to get close. He's looking for a rail shot, because this could really open the map up for him if he can get some unreturned damage with that weapon.
Well, again, he's not being incredibly subtle about his position right now, but I think Rapha has lost sight of him regardless. He's ready for the jump over for the red armor and denies it completely, getting the damage, getting the knockoff, and taking a lot of options out of Evil, but Evil stabbing back with a rail of his own, keeping Rapha at arm's length just a little bit longer. Playing through the obelisk, they're going to be trading whiffs at least.
And Evil actually has a better stack, only for a moment. They're now incredibly even. Evil got more armor, Rapha has more health.
They both got weapons, they both have rockets and rails, both of them being incredibly quiet right now as we go into our final 3 minutes. 2-2, incredibly tense. Evil at the door, he cannot go further.
Does it not feel like Rapha is protecting a lead by the way that he's playing? He's playing only on really one side of the map with access to one yellow and a Mega. He's got the key as well, he could push it up if he wants.
And that's the advantage that he has right now. He can defend Mega as long as he needs to. He can really push things into the latter minutes of the map. And if he needs to go on the warpath, he certainly has the option with the door available to him.
I just feel like he's also waiting for a mistake from Evil, but you know, neither of these guys slip up very often in a duel. Maybe Rapha's just waiting for a couple of free shots of his own. He's going to take a lot of damage with that lightning gun. Rapha trying to fight back at the moment. Top yellow's up at the, already, but Rapha's very weak. That might have been what Evil was waiting for.
Rapha got pushed onto that jump pad at exactly the wrong time, making that an easy target for Evil's LG. They both get out of there having to run away a little bit here, leaving that red armor sort of up in question as Mega comes up. And like you said, this might be a good time for Evil to take a Mega of his own.
What?
Oh.
Direct rocket. Is Rapha going to put pressure on Mega? He isn't. Evil doesn't benefit that much from picking up the Mega health, and Rapha doesn't take any damage getting onto the red armor.
Looking for tradable rails here might be Evil's undoing if he commits to that. He's wisely going to be heading over to the back end of the map, trying to go quiet here once again. Only 1 minute and 35 seconds left on the clock here, guys. This is match point for Rapha. And he just took one rail off of Evil. Now that he's under 80 health, he's completely railable. Crossing the middle of the map is very dangerous.
He wants to go for it now. He's looking for the frag. Is he going to be able to find it? Looks for a rail. Evil trying to leg it at the moment. Is he going to use the stairs, or is he going to try and fake it? Almost gets the rail. That wouldn't quite have gotten the kill, but it would have put Evil on a very, very short stack.
Missing those rails is going to cost Rapha a lot of time. He had just an amazing opportunity there to get Evil at that point, but Evil dodging like the champ he is.
1 minute.
That was a really smart red steal. It was a very risky in case Rapha got there in time to do damage, but having picked it up and got away scot-free, he actually has a chance to contend for this map. And remember, if Rapha wins this, he's going to be the Grandmaster Dueler over here at QuakeCon.
For the 4th time.
Evil getting a shot out. Can he hold his nerve? It's 2 for 1 at the moment, favoring Evil. And it's going to be red taken. He's going to run into that LG. Evil's so low on health. He hits another rail. One more from Evil, and he can still get the frag, but he's not going to push any harder. He needs to back off, get that 50 health bubble, get the top yellow, which will be available to him.
None of these items on this side of the map are incredibly safe to get, and now that he's at the top of the map, he maybe has a moment to breathe, but he must be realizing that he definitely took the poor end of that fight. That ambush from Rapha with the LG, it's so close to the wall. Evil had no time to react, and that's going to give Rapha this red armor, but he's already eating a rail here, evening them up. Evil's got the top of the map.
Wow.
He can actually decide the beginning and the end of this fight.
We've got overtime. We have 2 minutes of extra time here. Rapha just takes a rail. Can he escape successfully? He takes the yellow. Evil putting pressure on him. He gets the kill in overtime. Evil is still in the game.
However, Just 10 seconds after the start of that overtime, we still have a minute and 45 seconds left to play. A minute and 45 seconds for Evil to hold on to the Scrag lead, and he doesn't have a whole lot of stack to do it with.
Oh!
3 health, and that will tie it up once again. 3-3. Rapha taking away the key, and Evil does not want this fight to end. Rapha is just begging him to come in. Yeah, come get a rail or two as Rapha takes control of red armor. And Evil didn't even see him that way. Rapha getting a hefty amount of LG damage on him, but they're both going to have to back off. Once again, they're tied and bleeding out of every hole they have. A few new ones,
rough,
too.
Man, that's pretty rough. There's Mega behind for Evil if he wants it. Is he going to be able to back up to it in time? He jumps up. LG on LG. Evil, can he hold on to it? 16 health left for Rapha. He gets out, but Evil is not that much better off himself.
That movement, more like Evil Knievel.
Oh! Evil took a gamble right there. It did not pay off, and that could cost him a QuakeCon title over here.
That 50 health might just be the final nail in Evil's coffin. As Rapha is now well stacked up, he's going to be plenty survivable. However, we have 40 seconds for Evil to do something amazing, and I'm not willing to say this is the end of it yet.
Mega's going to be up behind. I think that Evil, he wants this red, and then he's going to have to do something incredibly risky. Wow.
One solid rocket, and Rapha getting pinned up against that wall is going to be taking a ton of damage. Here comes Evil, the LG keeping him down below. Rapha
15 seconds.
Up here.
He can't make it through in time. How's he going to get by? He sees the obelisk. He has to go in. Rapha, he's defending for his title right now for these rockets with less than 10 seconds to go. Evil backs off. I think that might be it, guys. The QuakeCon 2050 Grandmaster Champion is SK Rapha.
An amazing series.
Valiant effort from Evil there. All 3 games were so close, but Rapha able to close it out in 3 maps.
It comes down to those tiny moments, those tiny traps that give you a little bit of an edge, and being able to take that momentum and just push it over.
QuakeCon 2013 wasn't a fluke. The Division Duel final was not a fluke, and this certainly wasn't. It was an amazing performance for Rapha, an absolute masterclass in how you play Duel. We are going to give it to Adam Pyle and Tim Willis over to do the checks. Here for Rapha, the new champion of Duel.
Same as the old champion. Well, yeah.
That was really exciting. That was cool. Give those guys another round of applause. Don't let him leave. Put the pillows down, brother. It's all right.
Rapha's ready for bed.
So second place, let's give him a round of applause. Evil. And our champion tonight, with another $8,000, Rapha.